Yesterday my recording was longer than expected, and I realized my voice was being gone. So I am just like redoing today. So covering the second part of the introduction section for the course, as you know, the tourism place management project. I will start with the explanation of why we are choosing Gwesan, not other counties or not like other cities or at the other provinces. Uh, we just happened to choose Gwesan by chance. In 2019, at the in one of the events like called Seoul International Fair and Sustainable Tourism Forum, I just happened to meet the tour dure PD of Gwesan, just like greeted and we just exchanged business card. And then when I was thinking about how to organize like trips for this class last year, I just happened to contact the PD once again, just asking for collaboration. So that's the simple reason for choosing Gwesan. No other reasons, and I don't have any other connections. So yeah, I don't really get support from Gwesan. I don't have any other projects. We just happen to choose Gwesan. So after getting to know the tour dure PD, we had a like pre-trip before we started the first class last year, and at that time we visited the the meeting place for the kind of main offices, like main office for 관광 tour dure of Gwesan. And then we visited 그곳에 가면, which is one of the businesses providing the accommodation. And then we had a lunch at 수옥정 사람들, which is another business, tour dure business. And then and we actually met 모한웅 people at that time and had a conversation at that in the office of tour dure, and then we were just back. So as of 2019, there were as far as I remember, like 5 businesses which were really quite sure about participating in tour dure. The last one and probably the 5th one as well were kind of hesitating to participate, and they eventually they're actually formed later than the first, I think, 4 businesses. So for the 5th one and the 6th one, especially the 6th one, the business plan was crafted, written, and submitted later than other businesses. That means that although this is the 3rd year of tour dure, like some businesses are being created. Like it is kind of allowed that during the 2nd year and the 3rd year of tour dure program of a certain county or certain region, it is allowed that new businesses are kind of excavated, new businesses kind of open and get support by tour dure. So we got the business plan for Yeonpung Hanji Craft kind of later than other businesses late last year. So I think at this moment you can keep in mind that there are 6 tour dure businesses, including 모한웅, 가을 농원, autumn farm, 수옥정 사람들, 수옥정 people in 수옥정, 괴산 그곳에 가면, and 산마기 옛길 협동조합, 산마기 옛길 cooperative, 연풍 한지 공예 협동조합, 연풍 한지 craft cooperative. So this is the main office of tour dure in Gwesan. If you have a chance to visit Gwesan this year, I think you would hopefully get familiar with this place. And this is actually Gwesan 그곳에 가면. So if you see this kind of look very kind of empty. And if you see that the building at the at the front in the middle, that's the place that 그곳에 가면 people are going to like do something with. Yeah, I will explain a bit later. Yeah, once again. So this is 수옥정, 수옥정 사람들. So at that time we had lunch there. As you can guess, 수옥정 사람들, 수옥정 people are keeping in mind providing kind of food service. And we had a chance to just visit. Yeah, there is a kind of recreation area, and also swimming pool for targeting summer visitors. So this place is a bit close to that swimming pool, and this district of Gwesan has quite a lot of kind of recreational like visitors for recreational purposes. So 수옥정 사람들 and many like stakeholders, participants around that place are owning pensions, and they are they were well off, but they probably were having a hard time with their businesses last year because of COVID-19. So this is a main office once again. You can see one participant from Mohanong. This year we will not really assign students to Mohanong people because they are doing very well, so they might not really need other advice from students. So we will be focusing probably on the remaining 5 businesses, and at the same time I will probably give you kind of more information about Mohanong as rather as an example. So in last year we were keeping in mind going there as field trips, and our plans got really delayed. In May last year, the COVID situation got better, and we got a permission from the head of the college to get to visit Gwesan. So we just explained extensively about how safely we are going to visit and experience in Gwesan, and we had a safe experience, I think, because there are not really that many people who were traveling taking the bus at the time. I'm not really sure about this year, but we'll try our best. So during the trip last year, we visited Mohanong and Gaalnongon and all the places basically. So we met Mohanong people, and 산마기의 길 people, Gaalnongon people, 연풍 한지공의 people, and last year actually. 수옥정 사람들 and 그곳에 가면 didn't participate in our project, and this year we will give advice to those the additional 2 businesses. So at the end of the end of the semester last spring, students did presentations mostly offline. So I guess last spring the situation was probably better than this year. So hopefully the COVID-19 situation goes better so that you can, if you want, you can present offline. I think really if you want to present offline, you can just come and present, and I will simply just record so that the presentation can be shared with other classmates. So whether or not to present offline or online depend on you. So I'll just give you kind of free choice with regards to whether or not to present offline. We have, in addition to me, there are other kind of evaluators. So also last year, Gwesan people, as well as the PD, as well as the county government officials, gave us suggestions and the comments on the your final project. So I think in addition to meeting the class objective, it is also important, and it is important to keep in mind what Kwesan people, or especially Kwesan toward PD are expecting from us. So for Kwesan people who are participating in the toward businesses, yeah, they know that you are not professional, so they are not expecting really perfect output of with regards to their consulting. And as you know, we don't really get paid and we don't really pay them, so it is kind of for mutual benefit. And toward business participants are also not professionals, so if you take a look at the business plans of them, yeah, there are a lot. Those business plans are just for references, so you don't really rely too much on those. Yeah, you can just take those as kind of references. And when there are opinions, and what they are saying might not be really consistent depending on the situation. So you need to really figure out based on like diverse sources, like written materials. There are potential meetings with them, the conversation with the toward people, Kwesan County people, like government people, and the toward PD. You like based on those diverse sources, you need to really digest by yourself instead of relying on just one stakeholder only in coming up with the like suggestions. They are not expecting us to proofread and correct, the details of all parts of their business plans. So you don't need to really rely too much on business plans. So you have the kind of freedom to be creative enough, when it comes to providing and submitting your final project as well as brochure. So anyway, I think you'll be able to get good grades overall. So just try to be creative, and as long as you just follow the guideline and include the like essential components. Let us think about what the tour de PD is expecting us to do. Yeah, tour de PD is continuously talks quite a lot about the problems Kwesan-gun has. So tour de PD also knows the reality that the tour de business participants in Kwesan are not really passionate, overall about this project, what they are doing. I mean, because their main occupation is not toward business people. Their for many of them, their main occupation is farming, like owning, managing kind of restaurants, like accommodation, like pension. So they toward PD cannot really force the business participants to be really passionate about what their toward business is. And at the same time, for the government people, Kwesan government people are not really perfect, and they are not really professionals. So toward PD is like facing dilemmas about and feeling kind of guilty, sorry for not being able to proceed with what he kind of originally planning. The reality is very different from the ideal situation. So he is expecting us to solve those problems, like help with solving this problem of not being so perfect. So we can help. So our mindset would be to help toward the PD, to help the Kwesan-gun as well, to help the business people in doing the best out of the given situation. Yeah. So please just focus on identifying the problems that they have, and please just focus on giving suggestions and solutions to the problems that each of your team kind of members identified. So that's that's quite important, and that's what Tour de PD asked us to do, especially this year. So it is in addition to just completing the main task about primary computer analysis, SWOT analysis. Do not get obsessed with completing those, completing the kind of each part. Just keep in mind the most important is to help. Your basic mindset, main mindset should be the passion to help Tour de in Kwesan. So please help with solving the problems that you identified and Tour de PD mentioned with regards to the problem. So in the final project, please think and discuss why tourism in Kwesan is not really working that well. And please also think and discuss why it is hard to involve Tour de participants that well. So please provide suggestions on how to incorporate information technology as a part of SWOT analysis and suggestions. And also, please develop a questionnaire for their future use. So I'll talk a bit more about that anyway in the future. And Tour de PD of Kwesan wants diverse people to evaluate their business plans from the customer's perspective. So you can play a role as consultant, and then you can evaluate Tour de businesses from the customer's perspective, because the Tour de PD identifies that the Kwesan-gun, Tour de people are not really customer oriented. So and I will explain conceptually about what being customer oriented means in the during the 4th week, I think. But so please just give suggestions on how based on the identification of how customers would be thinking about each business, rather than to just hear too much from them and sympathize them too much. So it would be also beneficial actually if you give them kind of critical suggestions. Please be critical, and negative feedback to the businesses would also be working. So you don't need to be really always optimistic about what they are doing. You can actually you have the freedom to be criticizing them. So it'll also be good to provide some creative suggestions from the university students' perspective. So the Tour de PD, and Kwesan people are acknowledging the viewpoints from kind of younger generation, or from the students' perspective. So although you're getting quite a lot of advice from experts, they are expecting something different from students. So you can be creative, as not only as kind of potential future experts, but also as university students. And this semester, we will be sharing internal and confidential documents. So please do not really share those internal documents with others. Those documents are for internal usage, for your own references. So for business plans provided by the Tour de businesses, should be kept confidential. And I'll be sharing the Korea Tourism Organization consulting reports, and those reports should be used for this class only. And my teaching materials, other than introduction to Kwesan and introduction to Tour de can be kept confidential. So if you want to just use my videos and teaching materials, you should get a permission from me. And I should get a permission from you with regards to your final team projects and your work and field trip, for example, field trip videos and pictures, as well as your comments on this class. Basically, if all are your original work you can use for your personal use, that means that you can just develop this project output into any of the academic work, including your final like senior thesis for your graduation or whatever. So you have the copyright with regards to your final project. But you should allow Kwesan-gun and its tour direct program, including the our clients as well as the tour direct PD, to acquire and to get and review and take a look at the final team project, so that they can just refer to our final output, and they can evaluate, and they can just use for their own purposes, own development and improvement. Especially during the field trip and during online sessions, especially real time, during the final presentations, we'll be taking pictures and videos, so those might be used and shared sort of semi-internally. So I will really not just make those pictures and video clips very kind of publicly, but you should allow me and Kwesan-gun and tour direct program participants as well as PD to kind of refer to and kind of browse and utilize those like pictures and video clips, which will be taken during the activities with Kwesan-gun. Yeah, I've been monitoring your students' comment on this kind of collaboration. So I might be getting like feedback or the comments or reflection papers from you, and you should, or I might be just getting your permission to use those comments and your reflections for my academic usage, so that I can aim for my teaching purposes, so that I can just share my educational experiences with other teachers and other professors in other universities in academia. Yeah, so please just keep in mind. But if I just get those kind of comments and feedback from you, reflections, things would be just kept confidential, and those comments probably, other than reflection, just papers, those comments might not be really referred to in evaluating you. So the comments might be collected after I just assign you grades. So any feedback would be kind of welcome, while that would not really affect your grades. If you Google with keywords Kwesan-gun and 경희대, you'll be able to see some like newspaper, like news coverages. So this was, as you can see, from 2019, when we had a pre-trip to Kwesan. And you can also see that that was like during the third week of the semester, and you can now see that what really happened at that time, because I just uploaded a video, of that particular scene. Yeah, as some of you would have noticed, this is my office. So you can keep in mind that our activities might be released kind of quite publicly, like this way, and that would be that's actually helping Kwesan-gun County as well as tour direct program, and Korea Tourism Organization in general. So we are kind of allowing, and we are helping Kwesan-gun and Korea Tourism Organization in that sense. And it's actually not really bad for 경희대. So I just like let them just promote our collaboration publicly. So yeah, so if you just take a look at those kind of news coverages, those are about our class. So this is the end of the introduction. So in the next session, we will start with the introduction to Kwesan-gun and I think tour direct program, and I will explain the Korea Tourism Organization's like annual reports and annual evaluation of Gwaesan-gun, and the blueprint is very ambitious, and you'll be kind of surprised. I will try to share both English and Korean versions of many materials, so you can take a look in advance. Thank you for watching.